a $60 billion cocaine empire, a $4 million luxury bunker, and a $1,500,000 funeral. It sounds like the plot of a blockbuster, right? But this isn't a Hollywood script. It's the reality of the Italian Mafia, one of the most powerful criminal organizations in history. And what you're about to hear is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's travel back to where it all began. Sicily in the 19th century, a land drenched in blood and ripe for rebellion. The Mafia wasn't born out of greed or crime. It started as something almost noble. Back then, the term Mafia came from a Sicilian Arabic word meaning protector, a far cry from the violent empire it would become. These early mafiosi were defenders, protectors of their land and people against the tyranny of authorities. But even good intentions have a way of turning dark. Italy was in chaos after its unification in 1861. Law and order were just words on paper, and bandits roamed freely. The landowners, rich, powerful, and desperate, needed protection. Enter the gabellati, the men who hired muscle to protect their property. These enforcers weren't your typical security guards. They didn't come armed with batons or handcuffs. They came with violence and a terrifying code of loyalty. Thus, the Mafia we know today was born out of necessity, yes, but also out of a hunger for control. By the 1870s, the Mafia's influence was everywhere, spreading across Sicily like oil on water. What started as protection soon evolved into something far more sinister. Businesses began paying for protection, not from outsiders, but from the Mafia themselves. They were no longer just defenders, they were extortionists. But they weren't all brute force. The Mafia was savvy, understanding that the real money lay in control, not just of people, but of products, like Sicily's prized lemons, one of the island's most profitable exports. The Mafia squeezed the lemon trade, literally and figuratively, ensuring no lemon changed hands without their blessing. It's ironic, isn't it? One of the world's most feared organizations was built on something as simple as lemons. As the Mafia's power grew, so did their enemies. By the 1920s, they practically ruled Sicily, until one man dared to challenge them: Benito Mussolini. The fascist dictator thought he could break the Mafia with an iron fist. He sent Cesare Mori, known as the Iron Prefect, to crush them. And for a while it seemed to work. Hundreds of mafiosi were rounded up. Villages were raided. But the Mafia wasn't so easily defeated. Even Mussolini's regime couldn't wipe them out entirely. By the time World War II ended, the Mafia had made a comeback, stronger than ever, with the help of their American cousins. Soon, their power was no longer confined to Sicily. It spread through Italy like wildfire, giving birth to some of the wealthiest and most feared criminal syndicates in the world. And here's where things get even more interesting. Let's talk about the big three. Cosa Nostra, the original Mafia based in Sicily, had become synonymous with power, fear, and tradition. They started small, managing local businesses with a mix of charm and threats. But they grew, expanding into drug trafficking, corruption, and organized crime on a global scale. At their peak, they were raking in over $2 billion a year. But despite their riches, they've been forced to lay low after numerous crackdowns in recent decades. Then there's Camorra from Naples. Unlike the strict hierarchy of Cosa Nostra, the Camorra is more like a chaotic family reunion. Small, independent gangs operate under one loosely organized umbrella. They've made their fortune in drugs, counterfeit goods, and extortion. And don't let their disorganization fool you. This syndicate has pulled in over $3.3 billion annually, even driving Amazon to the brink in some parts of Italy due to their counterfeit operations. But if Cosa Nostra and Camorra are terrifying, the 'Ndrangheta is on a whole different level. Based in Calabria, this family-based syndicate has built a cocaine empire that spans continents, controlling 80% of the European cocaine market. Their yearly haul? $55 billion at its peak. And what sets them apart? Blood ties. You can't just join the 'Ndrangheta. You have to be born into it. It's the ultimate family business, where betrayal is unthinkable. Their operations are global, their power unrivaled, and their wealth unimaginable. But where does all that money go? Well, the Mafia knows how to spend. Their luxury bunkers could put any billionaire's mansion to shame. Take Michelle Zagaria, a notorious Camorra boss, who hid in a $3 million bunker complete with underground tunnels and every luxury imaginable. Or Pietro Puglisi, a Sicilian boss whose villa was filled with priceless art, hidden rooms, and secret compartments. And when it comes to cars, Mafia bosses don't settle for anything less than top tier. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Rolls-Royces are common sights in their garages. But sometimes, practicality wins out. An Alfa Romeo isn't just a car. It's an escape plan with enough trunk space for a few suitcases. But perhaps nothing shows the Mafia's taste for extravagance more than their funerals. When notorious Casamonica boss Vittorio Casamonica passed away, the spectacle was jaw-dropping. His $1 million funeral featured a gilded carriage, rose petals falling from helicopters, and a full orchestra playing the Godfather theme song. It was a display of wealth and power that sent a clear message. Even in death, the Mafia reigns supreme. And yet, for all their wealth and opulence, the Mafia's power isn't just about money. It's about tradition, ritual, loyalty. Initiation into Cosa Nostra is like joining a dark fraternity, complete with blood oaths and a promise to never betray the family. The Omerta, the code of silence, ensures that breaking the rules comes with the ultimate price, your life. In the end, the Italian Mafia is more than just a criminal organization. It's an empire built on fear, loyalty, and, of course, billions of dollars. And while their influence has waned in recent years, one thing is certain: their story is far from over.